In case you're wondering, this is how I do the first-person shooter stuff. This is memory foam, copper wire, thin plywood. There's a bolt there that screws into the bottom of the camera, and yeah, duct tape, rubber bands, whatever else, to keep me from having to keep the camera in my teeth, because then you can't hear my witty dialogue, right? Anyhow, something to mention. These little handles, I only made like a 2-minute video about them, and they also work on the 1-inch clamps as well, not just the 2-inch ones. But look at this, in case you're doing a bunch of them. I figured out that you can do it much faster by, wait, that's backwards, by feeding it in this way. And it might look like wobbly, but that's okay, you just hold it loose in your hand. You can still blast through 10 of them in just a matter of moments. Anyhow, I hope that you're liking this. I really, really, really recommend this. You gotta make one of these game boards. It's just awesome. I'm not just saying that because it's mine, I'm saying it because I love games, and as far as 2-player games goes, this one's got it all. It's really entertaining, and it leaves nothing to chance. Check this out. I've been working on my black walnut scraps, trying to, now that I have the working belt sander, I've been turning some of the rough stuff. It was just like logs. I've been turning it into short pieces, and it's very satisfying. This is hands down my favorite wood. Favorite wood, no question about it. It has a bit of a aroma, I guess you can say, but its beauty is unmatched, and it's worth going through the trouble for it. It's not too tightly grained, it's not too loosely grained. It's just the right amount of hardness and durability and color, and I don't like to stain it though. I stained one of those boards with a black walnut stain, and I was not pleased with that. That makes it too dark. Well, look at that. That blue light is daylight. It's a beautiful day outside. And I have to keep the door down because it alters the color in here. See how it feels blue as opposed to what you're more accustomed to. More prototypes that didn't quite make the cut. This would have been good for Mother's Day maybe. Copper wire, a printout of a butterfly, and a spring from a pen. Now the printout is just on, I think it's the expensive paper, the expensive office paper. It has cotton in it. But you can just use regular printer paper. And then what you do is you use a heat gun and some paraffin wax, and then it becomes waxed paper. It absorbs the wax and gives it this nice sheen. Well, it's much nicer looking in person. But I couldn't figure out the connection with sufficient elegance and simplicity to warrant posting a video for it. So it's in my seconds bin here, and maybe you can work it out. Give one to your mom. Tell her I said hi. I do want to express some concern with this project. I don't want to be immodest when I say this, but it's my invention. And goodness, it's hard to put it out there because it's arrogant to put it out there under the assumption that it doesn't already exist. The gameplay is too simple for it to not exist already. So I'm having difficulty believing that it could actually be mine. I don't want to waste my time with patents. It's just too exhausting, and to be honest, my tendency is towards falling out of love with things, and then I'm on to the next idea, and I don't want to just jealously regard my previous intellectual properties. I think that's silly. I would rather go on to something else. And like I said, I think it's a bit arrogant to operate under the assumption that nobody else ever made this exist before, because it's too simple. And we have a long history, humanity, that is. And there were many, many inventions of many, many games that nobody can even know about. Nevertheless, I'm presenting this as though it's mine. And we'll see what happens. All I can say is that I'm expressing some reservations because I expect to be met with hostility if something too similar already exists. And then if it does, then I'll give the proper attribution and everything, credit where credit is due and whatnot. I'm not just trying to change one little thing just so that I can make my own design patent or pat myself on the back for a creation that's exclusively mine. I don't think that such a thing can exist. I've just made a unique arrangement that I think is really satisfying to play. And there's a lot of game complexity and a lot of strategy involved with this. And there's like a sort of tactile beauty to playing this game. Kind of, I don't know, it's just satisfying. Just the dimensionality, just the way that it makes you think is empowering and at the same time challenging. I highly recommend it. And I don't care if it's mine or not. You have to try this. But this is following other disappointments, I suppose. This is a rope making machine, and you may have seen it floating around here for at least a year, but I didn't get to it in time. It was supposed to use 3, 4, or 5 strands, and this box unfolds. I'll tell you about it some other day, but a way more famous YouTube personality than I has already released, or has just recently released a series of videos involving something like that. And it's not that he invented rope making by any stretch. It's just that hot on the heels of that, the accusations will abound that I ripped him off. And I just don't have time, energy, or the inclination to continuously defend myself. It's one of the more exhausting things about having a YouTube following that starts to exceed what you're able to police or able to defend against the criticisms that come. Numerically, there's this. I have a disadvantage because I am but one, and so I can't fend them all off, and it becomes tedious to try to explain myself. And thus, I would rather present more neutral content or content that is less controversial or less requiring to be explained. Boy. Polyurethane. I always wanted to do a how-to video with polyurethane. You screw this on a jar with mineral spirits and then you can keep your brush wet overnight or for 2 or 3 days. Here's a failure. It's supposed to, have articulation and... Oh, I still never showed you how to make these knobs. Whoa, long clip. Wait. Cut. Yeah, so it's supposed to have... This telescopes because it's just pipe inside a pipe. And this articulation gives it, and then it can swing about the ring stand. Yeah, so why doesn't it work for this? It does. See, I want it to be independent because so I mount it to here, then it just vibrates all over. This thing really is a vibrating monster. Because it's on the same thing. It's on the same stand, so vibrations still transfer up that and just and yeah, it doesn't work. Someday I'll make an independent. There was another YouTube personality, Steve Carmichael. He made a really nice. I would probably model a stand after what he made. It's kind of at a slant so that you can sit at it. And I thought, why can't it be at a slant? There's no reason. I mean, you're not going to store your things here while this is in use. Okay, so what is this anyhow? It's a zero clearance insert, right? I need to adjust the lighting. Hold on. Everywhere I go in here, there is a light somewhere. Okay. Sorry if that made you dizzy. This is a zero clearance insert, right? But that's not all this does. And I never hear the scroll saw people talk about this. But a scroll saw has a very limited range of reciprocating motion. I don't even know what it is. It's just a very, very small bandwidth. So when you add a plate to it, whatever the thickness of the plate is, causes it to wear out a different location in the blade. So when you get a blade that just completely goes bad, it's worn out from running your material on the deck, you add the plate and the blade is brand new. It hasn't been touched 3/4 up, if that makes any sense to you. This is installation 3. Oh. It's really come a long way, my tripod. It's quite a piece of art, isn't it? So I've entered the hexagonal phase, I guess. And this is made out of a bunch of cutoffs that are shaped like long wedges. And I had it sitting around for a long time and I never used it for anything. It was real big, but not very thick. And it had a nasty cup in it that exceeded probably 1/4 of an inch. So what am I going to do with that? I cut it into this and made a custom stool that's really short to ride around on this. And my trusty tripod-ish thing rests on it. This is after, how long have I been doing this now? Quite a number of years. And this is refinement after refinement. This is a weighted counterbalance. There's a piece of steel in there. And this is memory foam with rubber bands. It takes up vibration a little bit. This is polyethylene. I've talked about this before, but as it stands now, this is the definitive statement on what works well. This thing really gets anywhere. I mean, it hangs out over tools. It adjusts way high. The golf ball on the top accepts one of those clip-on lights really well. These are little rubbery pencil things for people like me that press too hard when they write. And it fits on. This is from a chemistry ring stand. This arm is all. Yeah, I made it. Boy, manual focus is really annoying. I made all this by bending it and then using epoxy putty to fill it in and do like body work on it. It's due to be replaced. I think this time I'm going to use probably solid rod because this is hollow. It's from an old lamp or something and it has a little bit too much flex. But this ability is just very useful. I really gave it my best effort during the Jurassic Park video to clean this area, but it's falling slowly back into its natural state. I don't think I've ever given these enough screen time. I wanted to do a how-to about these. Here's a pattern in case you want to try it yourself. Here, I'll put it on a better background. Okay. Now if you take that shape and cut it out, then you just round over the edges on a disc sander. And it makes it until it's nice and ergonomic. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite sanding instruments. It really gets into places and applies a lot of pressure. These are, oh my goodness, I could do an entire video series on the types of sanding blocks that I use. Boy, what did Edison say? That invention is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration? Yeah, that's true. And implementation is 99% sanding and 1% actual construction. It's like preparation, sanding times 50, and then you're done. So I guess it's become somewhat of a rite of passage to make one of these. So I want to get it on the official video record so that I can firmly establish that I've pulled it off. That counts. Not bad.